Let's assume that your team is using Scrum to create value for customers. However, they have that trouble with sprint goals. Like so often, they basically first pick the work and then somehow attach a sprint goal on top of it because it's part of the Scrum guide and they're doing Scrum, right? Of course, that is not how it is supposed to be. Just as a brief reminder, sprint planning works in the following way. Product owner brings the business objective to the sprint. What's most valuable the team could accomplish over the course of the sprint? Then collectively, the Scrum team agrees on a sprint goal. Taking everything into consideration, their capacity, who is there, are people joining, people leaving, do they have all the tools, are there any dependencies, are they skilled in the area they're supposed to work, etc. pp. The point is that the sprint goal is actually the beginning for the rest, because now that they have a sprint goal that they can accomplish within the sprint, that basically supports the notion of the product owner, what would be most valuable from a business perspective, and the developers commit to the sprint goal, they now are in a position that they can pick the work that they deem fit and necessary to accomplish the sprint goal. That's it. The whole balance in a Scrum team, checks and balances, and no one has any authority to tell anyone else what to do, when to do it, and how to do this. This is really the core of self-management. Okay, so product owner brings a business objective, Scrum team collectively creates a sprint goal, developers commit and pick the work. So, of course, it's completely useless that you first pick the work and then, for whatever reason, because you probably feel better or you believe you have to do this because you're making Scrum work here, that you somehow bolt a arbitrary sprint goal on top of it. Complete use of time. So you try to help your team, and the team agrees on running a retrospective, and you trigger a few prompts here to figure out, okay, what is the background of this issue here? What are the root causes? And now we are actually closing in on the use case I like to share with you, when a large language model can actually make use of unstructured data and help us interpret this. So let us change here. I created the prompt in collaboration with ChatGPT, as you might have guessed by now. The link is in the description below, where you can see how I did this. And let's have a look at the sprint goal prompt that we have here. So we have a role, right? And we have a task, analyze the stickies here. And we provide the context. Team is struggling with meaningful sprint goals. Goals are often created after selecting work items. And now we get more into the details. Step 1, extract the data. Extract all sticky note text from the whiteboard. Preserve the position so that it can be grouped by color or placement. Categorize by retrospective prompts. There are 7 prompts here in the graphic, and we just list them here. So the previous job on creating this prompt identified those prompts from the retrospective. And then we have, the output. Each sticky note is part of a corresponding group. Flag them as ambiguous if you can't place them correctly. Analyze the response. Summarize key themes for each of the 7 groups. Identify patterns or misconceptions. Highlight signals of progress or insights, suggest 1 or 2 coaching opportunities or follow-up actions per category. Output format, group sticky notes, summary of themes, insight, coaching, opportunities, use bullet points, be concise but insightful. Important notes. Okay, first of all, I'm attaching a graphic here. And on the other side, it aims to shift the team's mindset towards sprint goals-driven planning, not task first. Emphasize Scrum Guide aligned thinking and detect anti-patterns, be constructive and solution-oriented. Now, this is the second time I'm recording this video, And the first time it was completely rubbish, the whole outcome. It was disastrous. And you will find a link to that one in the notes below. And I wondered, okay, what was going on here? And before I recorded this one here, I ran an experiment because I turned on the temporary chat, you know? And by comparison to the junk chat I had, I also changed the model from chat 4.0 to 04 mini. And 10 minutes ago, it was working just fine. Let's hope for the best when I click the go button. So, thinking. This is good. Transcribing sticky note text. Yes, that would be awesome. Okay. Ooh, it's complex work. So, 8. 4 seems a bit of few. 3, so there's missing one. This one seems correct. I messed down with the sprint goal. Help team understand the variables. If you don't, again, number 6. There's one that is very often missing. Just in the last one, I did not record. It was correctly placed. And okay, so what you would do now before you actually continue working on this, you would compare the transcriptions, and more importantly, typically it gets the text right. But more importantly, you want to also understand, okay, where are they placed, in what vicinity, right? So think of it, this thing as colorblind, so it's not that easy. And even despite we have so a vicinity mapping here, it's also not that clear. I mean, OCR is not the top job of any large language model, so bear with it a bit. And you would now go through step-by-steps and point to the errors. So for example, what we are missing in number 6 is lack of focus. And also, where is lack of focus? Typically it's somewhere else, probably. Okay. Lack of focus. Oh, it didn't catch that one in the first place. Well, that's interesting. I never had that before. Anyway, you know where this all is going, right? You would now reach out to the model and say, hey, you are missing something here. And then you would ask it to actually recreate the allocation of sticky notes to the individual points, and then you take it from there. Generally, this works well. I mean, in this situation, okay, insights, coaching, yada, yada, yada. Okay, now you could ask, okay, could you please draft a retrospective, another retrospective based on the analysis, question mark, what should the team focus on to improve? Okay, and then you're basically off to the races. So yeah, let's goal first edition, duration 90 minutes, check in. Okay, so check this out when you go through, when you open this chat yourself and think about this. And oh, by the way, I can't share that with you because it is a temporary one, and temporaries I can't share with you. Okay, anyway, so nevertheless, I wanted to mention this, that you can use large language model also to analyze graphical information. I mean, we used it before to populate our alignment canvases and create the content for test on learning cards, for example. But you can also use it to actually document and analyze sticky notes from exercise that you have. Of course, it's a bit more tricky if you have handwritten sticky notes. If people are using the wrong pens or pencils or whatever utensil they use to write, you need to have clear black lines. There need to be a decent level of contrast between the sticky note itself and the writing on top of it. But if you figure this out correctly, it's actually a good way to engage a large language model to help you analyze these things and then take it a step further. I hope you give it a try and practice. Of course, the online version is a bit simpler. Also because typically large language, the online whiteboards allow you to export the text of this. This is just an exercise in showing what you actually can do here. And by the way, the exercise here is part of the classic advanced Scrum Master class when we talk about the importance of sprint goals. It's real data, so to speak. Have fun.